So I got to play the new Tokyo Extreme Racer game, and I have to say, it's fun. So let's get into it. Tokyo Extreme Racer, also known as Shutoku Battle in Japan, is a legendary racing series that you've probably heard of, seen, or played. Definitely check out the plethora of videos and channels that go over the amazing game series as Tokyo Extreme Racer or Shutoku Battle. If you've heard of or played Wangan Midnight, then you will be right at home with this game series, so check it out if you're interested. So in my experience with the Tokyo Extreme Racer series is mainly from Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. When I'm going over the stuff in this video, I'm comparing it to my experience with that game. I don't know about the other ones, but I know from that one I really loved it. I also want to say that I am a casual player of this game series and I don't know the finer details of the cars and the customizing experience. If you want to check that out, there's amazing threads on the subreddit for Tokyo Extreme Racer by a user named Several Journalists, who I believe was at the demo too, who's gone over so many details of the customization, all the specific details that you would be interested in. So be aware, I might get stuff wrong and I might not provide enough context for things. So when I got there, it was around 4 p.m. There was a line, but it wasn't too long, and they were lining up for the racing wheel setup. There was two setups. There was one with a controller and then one with a full racing sim rig with a steering wheel and everything where you can sit in. With the racing wheel, they only gave you 5 minutes to play it, and then for the controller setup, they didn't really get too strict on how long you would play it, so I played it for like 20 minutes, and other people would play it for like I don't know how long, because no one really wanted to try out the controller. They were more for the racing wheel, and most people didn't come up because I think they didn't know if you had to pay for it or they didn't know what the game was. Also, when I got there, they were handing off this cool swag stuff. You know, got this for Genki, all stickers. These are really cool. And then I got this cool poster for Tokyo Extreme Racer. If you can see that. And it was really cool. And I got this card, which has another game they made. So one thing that kind of sucked was that the sun was out, so there was a bunch of glare on the screen, so it was really hard to get gameplay footage and also just like a good view of the game because you had to shoot it from different angles. So I apologize for all the bad footage that I'm about to show of just trying to capture the game. I wasn't 100% used to capturing footage like this. On the Tokyo Extreme Racer Reddit, they have better videos on there, so if you want to check that out, I'll put a link below. There was also this guy named Matt there who was very helpful and very kind. I believe he was helping coordinate the event. He was answering questions and he was explaining what actions did what on the controller, and he really helped guide the demo for everyone there. He was explaining that the demo that we were playing at the event would be the most basic version of the game, saying that this would be the roughest version, which surprised me, and I'll go into it later, but it ran pretty well. Another thing that he mentioned was that the demo only came about because they just finished the playable version of it when the FuelFest event was announced, and so they were like, let's just shoot it over there and put it out in public testing before the game comes out next year. He mentioned that this demo would only be playable now, like it wouldn't go on Steam or be played anywhere else, that this event was the only place you could play it, and then they'll release the game next year. Now with that said, he told me, and this could be taken with a grain of salt or whatever was going on with the game, but he mentioned that the game is supposed to come out early between like March and May, like that's the period when it should come out. It may come out, you know, around that time, it may come out later, but that's kind of around the time he mentioned. And that's why he said there would be no more like demos between that time. So take that with a grain of salt because, you know, developing timelines change or something can get pushed back, but that's kind of what the spot they were aiming for from what it sounded like. Now back to the game. So you could choose between 3 cars, and it was the RX-7, the R34 Skyline, and a Supra. Looked pretty tricked out, so I believe they were made specifically for the demo. And I picked the RX-7 because I just wanted to try out how the rear wheel handling works in this game to see if it feels okay or feels, you know, all over the place. But the one thing I wanted to call out because I thought it was interesting is that the Supra pretty much has the same paint job as Paul Walker's car from Fast and the Furious 1. I think it's a nod to that. I mean, FuelFest is owned by Tyrese and his brother, so I believe probably that was like a nod to get with FuelFest, or like they just might add that into the game and maybe a cross collab. I'm not sure, but that's how I thought that was interesting. So I got 5 minutes with the wheel and something felt off about the wheel. Like I couldn't turn it without having to like really turn it to make the car go. Like it was not very sensitive at all. It was just like I had to really turn to make the car go. And and it just didn't feel good. Plus the glare of the screen, it was really hard to see what's going on, and it just didn't feel right. So I really think they need to work on that with the wheel support. They need to fix that, or people are gonna complain a lot. That was like my experience with the wheel. Played like 3 to 4 races. Overall, it still was fun, but it was like, the game was fun, but not the experience of playing on a wheel. After that, I tried the controller, which was way better, so much better. That felt like I was back playing Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. The handling just felt just great. It felt a little off in the corners, but I think it was just mostly like to how the car was set up. So I think you can fix that in different cars, you know, mess around and customize. But that was way better. And the gameplay, it felt just like it. You go up to cars, you flash them, and then you start racing them. You could pick any car that you wanted to race. You could just race against, like, you know, those delivery trucks. And it was great. There's also nitrous in the game, which I don't know how I feel about. It's very much like you just press it and you just start going like super fast down the roads. And it kind of didn't really work when you're trying to like race somebody. You kind of like would hit a wall. So I'm like on the fence, maybe there's some mechanic or thing you can do to change that, where you can, like, you know, lower the amount of nitrous that you have in the car, but I'm not sure. I remember you also can refill the bottles of nitrous at a garage. Basically not something you accrue, you have to actually put it into your car. The physics in the game are a little cartoony. You can basically hit somebody super fast and you go under their car and they go flying, which I thought was kind of funny, but it's still weighted, so it's arcadey, but in a good way, but it still has like goofy physics. So if you're looking for like a simulator experience, this is definitely not it. It's keeping the arcade style 100%. There's still cool intros when you're going to challenge racers. There's even like unique intros for team leaders that I saw. That was pretty cool. The graphics look great. I had no complaints on the graphics. It may not be like super detailed, but it looked good enough. I wasn't on the HD super screen with like perfect lighting, so I couldn't tell. From what I saw in that short amount of time, it looked pretty good. So overall, the game, it feels like it's made for fans and people who have never tried it out. It's a solid build where, like, I didn't experience really any bugs or glitches while playing it, but it doesn't feel like they're trying to revolutionize the game series or revolutionize the racing. It feels exactly like a modern version of Tokyo Extreme Racer. It's not trying to do anything crazy. For me, that's great, and I like that. You know, it just feels like like just a breath of fresh air of getting a solid entry into the series. But for other people, there may be a bit of criticism because they may have wanted something way more than what they originally had on the PS2. It feels like it's just bringing something from the PS2 into the modern light. There's not too many crazy things I noticed that isn't already in other Tokyo Extreme Racer games. So that might be a make it or break it. It might disappoint you, but with my experience of just playing that game for 20 minutes in that short amount of time, I did not want to put it down. I didn't want to stop playing it. It reminded me of picking up Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero and playing it on the PS2 for hours and hours and hours. I loved it. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before I end this video is Sato-san, the developer who was there at the booth. He was watching people play the game and he was super happy. He's a very kind person, you know. He was very thankful for me being a fan of the series still and giving all the compliments for how legendary the game series is. Played it, Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero.
Oh, really?
He's on PC.
Thank you.
Yeah,
he's the dev. He's here from Japan.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, I love the series.
And we're happy you're here because this is literally the only place to play the demo.
Yeah, I saw this on Twitter and I had to come because I live here. So I was like, I have to come.
Thank you very much. Where from?
You're
Here, Arizona.
you're the fourth person to say they came to FuelFest just to play.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good right here.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's a very legendary series. So
Thank you very much.
yeah. And I wanted to ask him, why did you bring back the Tokyo Extreme Racer series after 18 years? Like, what was the reason? And he mentioned, which was kind of interesting, there was a nice lady there who was translating a lot of stuff because he was speaking in Japanese, but it was really cool hearing him say that, like, he said that Genki basically always wanted to make another Tokyo Extreme Racer series, but for whatever reason, they weren't able to. Basically, the popularity of Steam and PC gaming allowed for them to challenge themselves on making a PC game or publishing a Steam game that they really wanted to challenge themselves on. He also explained that Steam is a relatively new thing for Japanese developers, and they're still trying to find the challenges and figure it out. But with that said, because it's coming to Steam and PC, they do plan on putting it to consoles later on, but for right now they're focusing on a Steam and PC release. I think he mentioned PS5 was the next console that they're looking to put it on. But again, take it with a grain of salt. I have no idea if that's going to actually come true. So yeah, that was my experience of playing Tokyo Extreme Racer at FuelFest. That was the demo, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm going to grab it. So if you liked the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do that, and I hope I will be making another racing video, but I can't tell you when. You know, stuff just happens on this channel. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. So anyways, later.